Okay. So tomorrow we don't have this class because it's Diwali tomorrow, and in the evening time all of us will be busy in the rituals. So it's day off for this particular class. I will see you next week, but whenever you have time during the weekend, please go through some of the classes because there would be many of the sessions that you might not have attended, but they are live streamed on the page. So you can find one which you haven't done. This will give you an opportunity to cover those sessions that you might have missed somewhere sometime. So please cover them, or just cover your questions from the portal so that you can apply the things that you are learning in these sessions in some way. And a very, very happy Diwali to all of you in advance. I wish, we all hope and wish that this festival brings a lot of good luck and prosperity for all of you. Okay, and here is our question that we have to do today. So here is your first question for the orders. No, wait. So the first question for reading writing blanks is on your screen. Please take 2.5 minutes to solve the question and then post your answers in the chat box. Okay, should be done. Post your answers, those who are left. And always read the complete sentences before you put your answer. It's very important to see whether the sentence is positive or negative. Those who are not checking this, make it a point in your notebooks, in your checklist, that you always have to check whether you need a positive word as the answer or you need a negative word as the answer. So if we look at the first one, this says, energized by his success and encouraged by investors, Ford got to work on more advanced models and even received financial backing for a company to manufacture and sell horseless carriages. Dash business experience, Ford faced some initial struggles and the new company failed. So if the company failed, so obviously that person will not be having experience. This is a negative statement. So facing experience, experience is a thing that we face or we lack, we deal or we gain. So we won't say facing, we don't face experiences, we gain experiences or we lack in experience. So we dealing comes with dealing with something. Without with, we cannot put the word dealing. So what will be the answer? Lacking, because we need a negative word here. So we'll say lacking business experience, his new company failed. So gained is positive, dealing cannot come without with. That is how lacking would be the answer. So lacking business experience, Ford faced some initial struggles and the new company failed, dash a second one. Along with a second one, also a second one, even though an additional. Additionally, a second one makes sense. Even though doesn't make sense. Even though comes when you have a contrast. The previous sentence also said the company failed. The next part is also saying company failed. There is no contrast in that. Also a second one or along with. So also if we put also, it should be the new company failed and also. The second one makes more sense there rather than a second one. Rather, we should say along with a second one. So we'll say one company failed along with another one. So along with a second one. Along with means also. So all better than also is to saying along with. Third, they say, but Ford would not give up on his mission to make great automobiles, so he got to work on some of his boldest ideas yet. To prove the ability of his products, Ford entered one of his cars into a race, dash, he won. So a race, dash, he won. So he won the race, obviously. So what can we say for race, which we have just mentioned? Race that he won, whose, whom, or which. Whose and whom are used for human beings. For race, we can use that or which, but since we have just talked about race, just the previous word, we should go with which, because that is when you have talked about something before, uh, not just now, because something which you talk about just now is this, and something which you talk about sometimes like 2-3 sentences before, then you can say that. So here it will be race which he won. Right after race, we are talking about winning it. He then proceeded to build an even faster model that set an American speed record. These high profile successes brought Ford a great deal of dash, and soon investors were knocking at his door once again. So, successes, he was becoming successful. So, these successes brought Ford a great deal of responsive, working, attention, or popular. So according to the context, what fits is great deal of attention means more and more people started giving him attention, started to notice his work. That is great deal of attention. It could have been popular also if the answer would have been in the form of a noun saying popularity. Great deal of popular doesn't make sense. Great deal of popularity makes sense. And then they say, and soon investors were knocking at his door once again. On June 16, Ford dashed his third enterprise. June 16, 1903 is past. So what we need is past tense. Starts is present. He incorporated his third enterprise. He made his third enterprise. He has established. Has is present tense. So that cannot go with 1903. Do we make enterprises or we incorporate? So it will be incorporated, because made is very general, like making a chocolate, That is also made. Procedures, the things in which we do procedures like making food. But incorporated is more than bring into existence. That would be incorporation, which is used for entities. So because enterprise would be a business entity, we'll better use the word incorporation rather than made his enterprise. Right? These are the answers. The first one was based on whether we need a positive or negative answer. Lacking business lead to failing of the one company along with another company. So also would be like also the second one, but since we have a, we'll say along with another one. So another means a second one. Third is we just talked about race, so we cannot say that. We'll rather say which he won. And fourth is great deal of attention, because we need a noun. Great deal of what? Popularity would be the noun. Working and responsive are not nouns. The only noun that we had was attention. And the last one, because it's a business entity, so we don't make business entities. We'll say incorporate. That is bring into existence. Right? Any doubts, anybody in this question? Please ask. All good, everybody? No questions? It's okay, Sahil, no problem. No doubts for this one? All right. So here is your second question on the screen. You have 2.5 minutes. Please keep a watch on the time and you post your answers within 2.5 minutes. Okay, the time is up. So note down one important thing. What is the use of past tense and past perfect tense? Past perfect tense, which is had, comes when there are two things happening in the past. The one which is happening first will be had, and the one which is happening after that will be simple past tense. So look here what they said in the first sentence. They said that in the summer of 1995, a bakery opened in Montreal, Canada, and began to serve warm New York style bagels. Other cities around the world dash when New York bagels finally came to town, but the Montreals were outraged. So according to you, where did the bagels came first? What is the sentence saying? It came in Montreal first or it came in other cities first? Understand this thing. Other cities across the world dash when New York bagels finally came to town, but Montreals were outraged. So which happened first? They went to say that in other cities they came first and in Montreal they came later on. So they said other cities across the world had been thrilled. This happened first. And when they came to New York, they were outraged. Outraged because this happened second, which is in simple past. So past perfect will be first thing, and simple past would be what happened next to it. Okay, so most of you have written thrilled. Thrilled is simple past. It's a sequence of events that when it happened in other parts, people were really happy, but when it happened in Montreal, they were not happy. So there is one after the other things happening. Bagelville, the new shop, went out of dash and closed its doors in less than a year. So went out of work, business, service, or job. So it will be went out of business, and all of you are correct here. Montreal has a unique bagel tradition that dash back to at least 1919. Montreal has a tradition that dash back, that dates back, because it still dates back. We are not saying that it dated back. It still dates back. It is in present tense. Has a tradition means it still has a tradition. So in present tense, we will also select present tense that dates back to at least 1919. The Montreal beagle is chewier, smaller, and less dense, but has a much bigger hole than its American cousin. Boiled in honey water and then baked in a wood burning oven, it is a little sweet and has a harder dash. So what can it have? It's a dish basically. So we can say it has a harder outside, harder outwardly, harder exterior, or harder external. So only one noun we have. With a, we need a noun. Harder is the adjective. So out of the options, the only noun we have is exterior. Outside is also can be noun, but cannot be used here. We cannot say outside of a dish. Exterior of the dish and interior of the dish is still better. It is hand rolled in the shape of an oval hoop. You can wear one dash your wrist like a bracelet. So wrist would be like this. So you can wear one around your wrist like a bracelet. So we wear bracelets around. So same way we will wear they are telling us to wear that around our wrist. So only the first one was basically wrong. Please clarify your concept. When two things happen in past, one after the other, the first one comes with past perfect and the second one comes with simple past. All right. Any questions now in this particular one? It should be in one sentence. So this is the same story going on. Normally it is in one sentence, but when you read that, it's the same story going on. They just are explaining it in different sentences because in the same sentence, they have talked about, but in Montreal were outraged. So that tells us that it is coming, it is later on happening. That's why they're able to make a comparison. Okay. So it will be other cities across the world dash when New York bagels finally came to town, but the Montrealers were outraged. So how can you say if let's say it came in Montreal first, then how can you say but they were outraged? So we can only compare them when there is a comparison already available. All the other places around the world, people were happy, but when it came to Montreal, people were not happy. So that but can only come when you already have a contradiction available, right? So this is not Tejal, understand this. We are saying that in summer of 1995, a bakery opened in Montreal. They did not say after which it came to other cities. So we are not saying it is already opened in Montreal. We are not saying it's not opened. The thing is, they nowhere mentioned that it happened in Montreal first and other cities later on. Rather, the opposite is mentioned. The way they said other cities across the world were happy when they came to town, but Montreals were outraged. How can you compare when there is no comparison available? If it would be first in Montreal, they would compare other cities with Montreal, not Montreal with other cities. The writing style tells us that first they come in the other parts of the world and then in Montreal. So in the third one, it's not. In the second one, Madha, I think you want to ask. Second one is not service. So let's say we open a shop and the shop is not performing good. So will we say that went out of service or went out of business? So it will be went out of business, that there is no business was happening. There was no customers coming. So that is loss of business, not loss of service. Okay. What else is in the questions? Fourth one, why not A? So outside, it's a dish, Sahil. Do we say outside of a dish? Outside is for outside the house, outside the building, outside the environment in the, that is outside for. For a dish, if we say exterior of the dish is crispy or soft or soggy, we don't say outside of the dish. So because it's a dish, something to eat, outside won't fit. Okay. Anybody else, any questions? All right. Question number 3, and you have 2.5 minutes again. Please post your answers in the chat box. Okay, are we done? Good, very good. Let's look at the answers. This says computers and the internet dash many high-tech and complicated pieces to run properly. So computers is plural plus there are two things together. So we need a verb without S, and all of you have done it correct. Very good. Both the things require complicated pieces to run properly, but something known as a router is a key instrument that keeps information being sent from one computer to another, going along the correct pathway. The internet also relies on telephone wires and satellite links for wireless information accessed. Internet, what are they talking about? From one computer to another. So internet also relies on wires and satellites for wireless information sharing. So they were talking about the work, that what work does they do. So they rely on wires and satellites to share the information, wireless information sharing, like we send pictures, we send data, so we share with each other. That we do with the help of internet. It is important to note that for the dash to work as it does, so it means we need a singular noun here. For the, after the, we need a noun. For the dash to work as it does, many companies have to agree to work with each other. So what we have is, for computer to work, companies have to agree with each other. Now I'm using this computer, which company I have agreed it with, right? So they are talking about internet. For the internet to work, officials is plural. Before officials we cannot use it, and cellular is an adjective. Cellular device will make a noun. Cellular itself is not a noun. So we'll say it's important to note that for the internet to work as it does, many companies have to agree to work with one another. The internet is really a collection of networks. This also continued, that they are saying it's a collection of networks working together toward a common dash. So a means it should be a singular noun here. Space, plans, intentions, and goals. So intentions and plans are plural. So common space, we work toward a common space, or we work toward a common goal. And a good answer for this one. So they work toward a common goal of allowing information to dash. Allowing information to share. To share with whom? Allowing information to be shared, so that we can share information. So it was, we have a common goal of allowing the information to be shared, right? So the first one is required because we need a singular form of verb without S. Second is, it was the function of internet. Internet uses this and this for wireless information sharing. Third, internet, because we needed a singular noun, and the two nouns we have is computer and internet. Computer, for computer we don't have to agree with somebody. For the internet we have to, like the companies, they have to agree for using each other's satellite connections. And next is fourth, they have a common goal, singular noun. Space doesn't fit according to the context, so we have a common goal. And last one, what is the goal? To allow the information to be shared. Right? Any questions, anybody? Any doubts, any confusions? All good, all right. Question number 4 on your screens. You have 2.5 minutes. Solve it and put your answers in the chat box. Very good, Ragmeet. Good attempt. So this says, when we think about how our personalities are formed, we can think about genes we acquired from our parents. The sentence was complete even without the blank. Think is a verb. What we need here is an adverb, something with ly. So we say we can evenly think. Evenly and unevenly are for surfaces. Even is like plain, uneven is a rocky surface, would be uneven. Can we evenly think about? Doesn't make sense. We can quite think about originally, but we don't have ly. We can certainly think about. Certainly means yes, this is for sure that we can think about the genes that we acquired from our parents. But we also have to think about other complexly dash factors like environment and upbringing. Complexly missing factors, intertwined, traced, or recombining. So what tense do we need? Do we need ing here? No. So these factors are already there. We have to think about other complexly intertwined. Intertwined means connected. The factors which are so uh, in a complex way, they are connected to each other that it is not easy to separate them. That is called intertwined. And complexly means difficultly intertwined, and they are very much connected to each other. So we also have to think about complexly intertwined factors like environment and upbringing. There is nothing like complexly traced factors. Traced is used with traced back, to go back into history. Recombining, why will we say they have to be redo something? We are just talking about the factors, and this is also something that we have to think about. We're not talking about redoing something, so that's why recombining cannot come. And if the factors are missing, then why will we think about that? So they are complexly connected factors. For now, we will simplify things by just focusing on the physical aspect of inherited traits. For example, if both parents dash the trait of red color, their offspring have a greater chance of acquiring the genes that code for red color. So if both parents have the trait, in basic language, if both the parents have red color, red hair, so if both parents exhibit installs, we don't need with S because parents is already plural. Reflected is past tense, but what we are talking about is a fact. Facts are not based on tenses. So what we have is, if both parents show the trait or exhibit, they both mean the same. Exhibit is a better academic word than saying show. So exhibit comes from exhibition. And when do we go to exhibition? What do? They show the different things in exhibition. So it comes from there. So exhibit just means show. We'll select the better academic word over show. If both parents exhibit the trait of red color, then there will be greater chance that their offspring may also have that. Certain traits are characteristically dominant or recessive. Dash on the makeup of their alleles. So it will be whenever we have a blank in a running sentence after a comma, we generally put ing form of verb. Focusing on the makeup of or depending on. So this is a factor that some of the genes are dominant, some of them are recessive. This depends upon the makeup. This makeup means how the genes are made up. This depends on that. This can make predicting traits tricky, but it is still very possible to estimate the likelihood, even the mathematic probability, that certain traits will dash in the offspring of partners who exhibit those traits. Certain traits will it should be V1, will benefit in the offspring. Will benefit, we don't put in, we say benefit who? Benefit people, benefit children. So the noun comes after benefit. Certain traits will ensure in the, again with ensure we don't say in, we ensure what is ensured. We ensure the possibility of jobs, we ensure the production of the goods, right? And resulted cannot come with will. So what are we left with is manifest in the offspring. Manifest also means show or exhibit or display, right? So first one is ly, because the sentence was complete, so we needed an adverb. So we'll say we can certainly think about these things. Complexly connected factors, connected is intertwined, with ed we needed that. If both parents show the trait of red color, so show would be exhibit, because it's better way of saying show. And fourth one is depending upon. The genes can be this or that. This depends on certain factors. So it will be depending upon the makeup. And the last one, the traits will manifest in the offspring. The traits will show in the offspring. Yes, Sahil, we can even do this, that with ly, we generally put ed form of verb. That's right. Do we have any written rule book for this particular question? This question would mean, sorry. If you're asking about the general grammatical rules for these questions, then it would be there are two videos that we have on Facebook page. You need to watch that. Plus, when we do the practice, please keep noting down, because there are certain things which cannot be just explained unless and until there is a question, there is a sentence, because that makes it easier to understand the concept. But yes, we do have two grammar videos that can help you, along with some basic grammar rules in the end of those videos as well. So meaning of intertwined, Bhagyadeep, can be connected. Things which are very mixed and connected with each other, it is difficult to separate them. Okay, anyone else, any question or confusion? So when there is a running sentence and we have a comma, and after the comma we directly have a blank, and we are talking about the first part of the sentence, like they said, certain traits are characteristically dominant or recessive, dash on the. So depending, we are still continuing to talk about traits, that this thing, whatever we talk about in the first part, this depends upon, but we don't have this here. If we put a full stop, I'll say this depends on the makeup. But if you're not putting a full stop and I am not giving a subject to this sentence separately, then it will be ing form or ed form. Ed comes when you have by written, otherwise generally ing comes here. Okay. Is it fine whenever? All right, rest of you, question number 5 on the screen, and you have 2.5 minutes. Solve and put your answer in the chat box. Asfan, do we use with face? Create a sentence with face. You will have to face a lot of problems in this career. Do we say you will have to face with a lot of problems? Same goes for you, Johnson. Okay, let's look at the answers for this one. This says residents of Los Angeles, California must dash with gridlock traffic every day. So must deal with traffic, because with deal, we use the word with face, use the word like, I have faced a lot of challenges in my life. When do we use with? When we use face, right? So deal with, you have to deal with a lot of issues. Deal and with go together, face and with don't go together. Indulge goes with indulge in something. And with tackle, again, you simply say, I have to tackle problems. I have to tackle the issues. Don't use any preposition with that, right? It can take up to an hour to get from the east side of the city to the west side, especially during rush hour, which can last up to 3 hours. Over the past decade, the city government has made, so what tense are they using? Present perfect. Has made legislative inroads in expanding and building public transportation in order to dash the hours of driving commuters. So obviously they would be solving the problem to reduce the hours. So what we have for reduce, in order to inaccessible the hours, inaccessible would be a noun. Alleviate, alleviate is to cut down, to get rid of. So, or reduce, that is alleviate. Extend, they will never want to extend the traveling time. Lengthen again is increasing. So we want to go with decreasing the time. So it will be alleviate. Alleviate the hours of driving commuters must put in on a daily basis. Car culture in Los Angeles is so dash that many residents oppose the building and expansion of existing subway and bus lines. So car culture is so something that people oppose public transport. So car culture would be common. Car culture is so preferred that they oppose public transportation. So positive word for car culture is so spreading. Is unwelcome? No, it's negative. Pervasive, entrenched. Is so entrenched, it has to be entrenched to come with is. First form of verb cannot come. What we need is pervasive. Pervasive means so common. So all over the place, so common. So car culture is so common, so pervasive that people oppose the building of public lines or bus lines and subways. Some residents, so I'll not read the comma to comma part because we don't have a blank in between. Some residents dash official complaints with the city and housing authority in areas that have been marked by government officials. So what tense have they been using? They are using present perfect to explain the situation in Los Angeles. The government has made something. The same way we'll use the tense. Some residents dash official complaints. So some residents makes would be present tense, simple present. Also with residents is plural. So we cannot have a verb with S. Has also comes with singular. Residents is plural. Some residents are they putting right in front of us? Not possible. So we'll also follow the tense that the text has been following. Some residents have filed official complaints with the city and housing authority in areas that have been marked by government officials as dash opportunities for public transportation. So they have marked the areas as potential, probable, possible, or professional opportunities. So it would be potential opportunities, right? Potential means like if you, for example, in Parramatta, they saw the potential of tramway. So now they're working on that. Potential means something that has the possibility and the resources to be converted into a better form. That is potential. So these areas have been marked as potential opportunities, means to be converted opportunities for public transportation. One of the major complaints about the expansion of public transportation in Los Angeles has to do, see again, they're using present perfect, with residents losing their views of the city dash their residences in the hilly neighborhoods. So they will lose the views from their residences, means like from their balcony, they won't be able to see the city, let's say City Harbor Bridge. They will lose the views from their residences. They won't be able to see the beautiful city from their houses. That's why they oppose the construction of public transportation, right? Has comes with singular nouns, Asfand. Have comes with plural. Has comes with singular. It has nothing to do with countable or uncountable, right? So the first answer is deal, because deal comes with, and the others cannot be used with. Alleviate means reduce. We generally use the word alleviate with poverty. You must have heard it. Governments are coming up with plans to alleviate poverty from the country. So alleviate means to reduce, to cut down. Third is pervasive. This can be said that it was based on some kind of vocabulary, but pervasive is a common word. Pervasive means common. And fourth one, residence is plural. So we cannot say makes because it is with S. Has given, residence is plural. Has comes with singular. Are putting is not what the context was using the tense. They were using perfect. So we will also go with perfect tense. Have filed. Potential opportunities. Potential is something which is to be converted, like which have enough resources, enough opportunities to be converted. That is potential. And the last one, the views of the city from their residences. See, if we say government officials have marked those places as possible opportunities for public transportation or potential. There's a slight difference. Possible is just like it is possible to make a train station here, right? But when do we use potential? When we'll say that it will be very helpful as well, that this will solve the problem. This has the potential. Just possibility won't be like we say there is enough space available to make the train station. That is possibility, but potential would be that will solve the problem also, right? Entrench, I'm not sure about the meaning of entrenched. Let me check. Entrenched means established, ingrained or established, unlikely to change. Third answer is C, not entrenched. Sorry, I marked it wrong. Along their residences, along means with their residences. You see the view of the city with your residence or from your residence? From is when you are talking about the source of something. Along is side. Next, with, that can be along. Like we say, I go for a walk along the river. That is side of the river. That is along. Alleviate means to reduce, to cut down, to decrease. That is alleviate. Yes, Bhagyadeep, we have this class 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. But we don't have a class tomorrow. It's Diwali. Okay, all done with this question? Any doubts? No class on Friday this week as well. No. I take, I take class, compensatory class when I take leave. This is not my leave. This is day off. No, just joking. So no class on Friday because this is like a day off kind of thing. So, but yes, I will give you a lot of homework. Don't worry. So I'll give you homework like everybody has to do 50 reading writing blanks and 50 reading blanks and 50 reorders in the holidays. No, these questions, I don't think they are in portal because then they will be very limited. We already have portal, so we try to cover more from different sources, from different types of questions. These are framed particularly keeping in mind the grammar things that you can see in the exam. Okay, next question, 2.5 minutes. Go and solve. Put your answer in the chat box. Faraz, more careful with some obvious eliminations like orientation. Ads is already a noun. Yeah, so let's look at the answers. If eating a lot of fast food is bad for a person's health, why are so many kids dash off OFF to McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and so? So rush off is a collocation. Why are so many kids rushing off? That means why are so many kids so attracted towards? Why are so many kids preferring? That is rushing towards something. Rushing off to McDonald's and these fast food chains. The restaurants all have tasty, low cost food for sure, but Harris says that advertising also plays a big role. The companies put out a lot of ads dash toward kids. So with toward, what goes is directed towards. We say a lot of ads aims So aims would be, ads is already plural, rather it should be aimed toward kids, not aims. Regulated towards, no, ads are not regulated towards, they are directed towards, means their focus is kids, that is directed towards. According to the report, 6 to 11-year-olds saw 3.5 ads each day. Most of them appear on television, but many now also dash on the internet. So they said appear on television. We'll also say many of them now appear on the internet. We cannot say started because it's now. We need present tense. Seem on the internet. Seem is like look on the internet. Yeah, we say it seems as if it will rain. So that means it looks like it will rain. That is the use of seem. And exists again with S, with many is already plural. So we cannot say exists. So many appear on the internet. In 2006, the major fast food companies signed a dash agreement. So the noun is already there. We need an adjective. What kind of agreement they signed? Intentional cannot come with a. Same way anticipated cannot come with a. They have to come with an. So spontaneity is already a noun. Everything that ends with ity is a noun. So we don't need a noun because noun is already there. So voluntary agreement. What kind of agreement? Voluntary. Voluntary means when nobody forced them to do that. It was their own wish. That is voluntary. To help promote their healthier menu selections, to dash is to highlight. So what they just talked about is promote their healthier menus. So what do they mean by promote? To promote is to highlight. They want to highlight their menus, healthier menu selections. That's why they signed the agreement. Right? So based on the context, I would say the last one is to promote. How can it be C? Do we use past form with to? With to always comes first form of verb, not ed. Right? They are not talking about upgradation. So we won't say that to further is to highlight. They did not say they are going further. They just said that they signed an agreement to promote their healthier options. So they just explained that what do you mean by promote is they wanted to highlight their options, healthier menu options. Right? Any questions, anybody? Any doubts, queries? Yes, you can score yourself. We are done with reading, writing blanks. Good, Madha. Very good score. 26. Wow, Manjot. 30. Very nice. Sahil, your scores. 23. Without doing the first question. Is it? Kashif, what is your score? Ben, your score? Let me see what you people are doing. Fatima, what about you? Abhishek. Good, Abhishek. 25. Fatima, 2 or 3 more. That's okay, Kashif. 20. Okay, after missing 2 questions, 20 is not bad. Good, Preetham. 27 is also fine. iPhone G, 26 is also fine. That's okay, Ben. No worries. Okay. Let's move on to reorders. Okay, first question, 2 minutes. quickly do it with all the rules in mind and post your answers. When doing reorders, there's one more thing that you can keep in your mind, or you can think. When you read a sentence, you can ask yourself that what is the primary objective of writing this sentence? Like, does this sentence want to highlight the landslides, the definition of landslides, or it wants to highlight the reasons, the solutions, the causes? Like, why is this sentence written? There would be a lot of information in one sentence, but we need to find out the objective, the purpose, the perspective of writing that sentence. For example, in the first one, they say, every year, landslides cause massive amounts of property damage and casualties. So they here want to highlight annual loss, that what damage landslides result in. And every year means they are very much narrowing down to just every year's losses and every year's damage, right? So it will be every year landslide landslides cause massive amounts of property damage and casualties. And if this is your first sentence, then the next sentences should talk about what kind of damage, because we have to narrow down. We cannot go broader in the following sentences. They should talk about how many casualties, what age group, what kind of property damage, what percentage of damage. This should be followed, right? Although weather and erosion are responsible for creating beautiful sites such as sandy beaches and the Grand Canyon, there are many negative consequences as well. So this sentence is so broad, the broadest of all. It talks about the concepts weather and erosion. They are responsible for some beautiful sites, but there are negative consequences as well. Now, negative consequences of weather and erosion, there can be thousands and thousands and millions of it. It's a very, very broad sentence. When hillsides or mountain sides are gradually worn away, they can become unstable and break down, especially when triggered by extreme weather such as floods, heavy rain, or snow. Now, this is explaining one concept, that how exactly the process happens. When the hillsides or mountain sides are worn away slowly, they become weak, they are not stable, hence they break down. So it's a process. What happens first, then what happened, then what happens. There's an explanation of how something happens. Landslides are some of the most dangerous side effects of erosion. So can this be one example of the negative consequences? So this was B comes first. This is your topic, that weather and erosion are two things which create some beautiful things, but there are some negative consequences. And out of those negative consequences, landslides are some of the most dangerous side effects of erosion, because we were talking about weather and erosion here. So we picked up one example. Then we explained, what do you mean by landslides? This is the meaning and explanation of landslide. When they are gradually worn away, they become unstable, then they break down, especially in the extreme weathers. And in the end, every year, because this is a completely different topic, landslides, they cause massive amounts of property damage and casualties. This is what is the effect of landslides. So first you will say landslide is one of the consequence. What is landslide? You will explain how landslide happens and what does it result in, what is the effect of landslide, right? So if you like, this is what I was trying to explain. If you know that this is the effect, right, this is an example, this is the explanation, then it will be easy for you to put them in order. Okay, so it's important to find out that why this sentence is written. This sentence is written to show the effect of landslide. This one is written to introduce landslide. This one is written to explain a concept. So when you have explain, introduction, and effect, you will automatically put them that what will come first. First will be the introduction, then will be explanation, and then will be the effect, right? So try doing this. If you're facing problem in reorder, maybe this can help. Good, Manjot, very well done. Any questions, anyone, in this particular reorder? No. Okay, second question, 2 minutes, and try using some bases, some techniques. If one is not working, use the other one. Yes, Johnson, I have never ever taken any class saying that the first sentence cannot start with this, the first sentence cannot start with that. It's not possible. The English is such a complex language. You can frame a sentence starting with although, despite, as a result of, can be the first sentences. So don't think like that. Always believe in reading the sentence. I'm not saying interpreting each and every word, but definitely reading every word to give you the hints wherever possible. Okay, solve this one, the second one. Well done, Neha. I think just one or two of you did it correct. Post your answers if anybody's left to. Because we don't really remember the strategies, the rules that were taught in the strategy classes, and we don't want to revise them. This is the result of that. That's why we get so much variations. The first question arises here. That's why, what is the reason given that we are writing this? We get so much variation even within the population of a particular sexually reproducing species. So why do we get the variation? Where is the explanation? We need to find that. It is a sort of complex lottery in which the third organism inherits a combination of the parent organism's genetic material. The third organism, genetic material. The possible variations inherent in recombining the parent's DNA are very, very broad and infinitely larger than the pool of entries in the state lotto jackpot. When two organisms create a third organism through reproduction, a number of variables come into play. So you have to start with D, saying when two organism. This is the topic. Why are you talking about variations? Why are you talking about DNA? Why are we talking about offsprings? What is the reason? This is the topic. When two organisms create a third organism through reproduction, a number of variables come into play. Article rule applied here. Something with a comes first and something with the comes later on. This was the first rule you were being taught in reorder strategy class. It is a sort of complex lottery in which the third organism inherits a combination of the parent organism's genetic material. Genetic material is broader than DNA. Then we'll say the possible variations inherent. First, they will say that what we inherit is genetic material. Then will come that what are the variations, what are the possibilities, what are we going to inherit. The possible variations inherent in recombining the parent's DNA are very, very broad, and it is even more than the pool of entries in Lotto jackpot. And that is why, because it is so broad, that is why we get so much variation, even within the population of a particular sexually reproducing species. D and B were simple article rules. Something with a comes first, the comes second. Then what are we left with is explanation, and that's why. You cannot say that's why unless and until you have given the reason. And what is the reason? Broad. DNA is so broad, that is why we get so much variation. Any confusions, anyone? Lucky day, rather than saying lucky day, I would say that I'm using my brain properly. Intelligent day. Book your exam on Wednesday. You do good reading on Wednesday. Good, Delis. Any doubts, anybody? Why is B after C? B is not after C. B is before C. B comes first, then comes C, Kashif, and then comes A. So B has to come after D because this says a third organism, this says the third organism, which is your article rule. A and the comes after 1 and 2. And then genetic material. What is the genetic material? DNA. And then you say that's why we get variation. Right? Third question, and you have 2 minutes for this also. Put your answers in the chat box. Yes, put your answers if anybody is left. EC or CE? Some of you have messed this up. So let's see. Speaking in public is essentially important for businesses to market their offers. Now, if this is your first sentence, because I could see some of you writing A as your first sentence, then all of the sentences which are going to come later on should only talk about business. Now, you cannot go out of the business context because your first sentence only talks about business, but that is not the case. There are some sentences in which they are generally talking about public speaking. They are also talking about student. So if you start with business, then you cannot go out of business. So that is the identification of the first sentence, the broadest one, which can incorporate the other sentences into it. This sentence is only talking about speaking in public for businesses to market their offers. Whether you are a small business owner or a student, you will benefit from improving your public speaking skills. And here we talk about both business or student. Public speaking will improve, benefit us. This allows them to get their message in front of potential customers. Now, this allows them to get their message. A plural noun should come before this. Words have the power to inform, persuade, educate, and even entertain, and the spoken word can be even more powerful than the written one in the hands of the right speaker. This was your first sentence. This is so broad. This does not talk about any one particular field. This just talks about speaking words, the power of words. Salespeople and executives are often expected to have good public speaking skills. Can be the example of something. Very, very narrowing down to just salespeople. The first was D, where we talk about words have the power to inform, persuade, educate, and even entertain. Then what will come later on is, because we have sentences which only talk about business. And if we start that, then we cannot go out. So first we'll talk about all the possibilities. Whether it's in business, whether you are a student, you will benefit from public speaking skills. Right now here, the subject rule applied. The object became the subject in the next sentence. So here you finish that public speaking skills. Now public speaking skills is your main idea. Speaking in public is especially important for businesses to market their offers. And the fourth one was this, because this allows. If you talk about salespeople and executives are often expected to have good public speaking skills, how can you say this allows? So this is because they talk about speaking in public is important to market their offers. This allows them to get their message in front of potential customers. And here there means businesses. And then you go down to just very, very narrow sentence saying salespeople and executive are often expected to be good in public speaking skills. Right? Good Delis, good Sahil. Fine, Manjot, that doesn't matter if you're getting like full score in 2 and like 3 out of 4 in 1, perfectly fine. Any confusions, anybody in this one? One second, sorry. This refers to what? Now, this refers to the concept. Kashyap, so in the first sentence, in A sentence, they say speaking in public is especially important for businesses to market their offers. Now, this allows them, why is it important to market their offers? Now, say this allows that it is important because it allows them to get their message. So this is what this is referring to, right? Yes. So in all, actually the basic concept is good public speaking only. So they are saying that speaking in public is important for businesses to market their offers. This combinedly would be like, to market their offers in a good way will allow them to give their message properly in front of the potential customers, right? So doing their job, doing their public speaking or marketing their offers in a good way, in a good public speaking manner, is referred to as this. I hope this helps now. All right, question number 4, and you have 2 minutes again. Okay, I have a hint. I think you're confused. I can give you a hint. Listen to these 2 sentences. If I say, it's not enough to do 80 questions, you must complete the whole of the portal. It's not enough to do just 80 questions, you must complete the whole of the portal. See if this helps you to get your answer. Sometimes it's just important to get the way, the order in which you will speak something. So let's look at the answers. This says it boils down all the complexity of your sales pitch into something that your client can easily grasp and remember. So, what is this it used for? Is the first question. And what is it saying? It boils down all the complexity of your sales pitch into something that the client can easily grasp and remember. So, we understand this part. Your value proposition must focus closely on what your customers really want and value. This is what you have to do. You have to do this. A value proposition is a short statement that clearly communicates the benefits that your potential client gets by using your product, service, or idea. This is the definition, so it should be your first sentence. It is not enough just to describe the features or capabilities of your offer. Your statement needs to be very specific. So first you give the definition. What are we talking about? We are talking about a term, value proposition. What is it? It's a short statement that clearly communicates the benefits of your product to the customer. It can be used for the term it boils down, because you just explained, you just gave the definition. And after definition, we use the pronouns. It, what does it do? It boils down all your complex things into easy language, which your customer, which your client can easily grasp and remember. And then the hint that I gave, it's not just enough to do 80 questions. You must complete the whole of the portal. It is not just enough to describe the features or capabilities. Your value proposition must focus closely on what your customers really want and value. So just the way of saying was the basis of solving this. So if you'll have these sentences and you have to say them in order, which order will you follow? Right? Good, Jagmeet, a good attempt. I was just saying that you have done really well in this. Very good, Manjot. Any doubts in this question, anyone? I would classify this as a difficult question. I won't say it was very easy. These kind of questions can also come in the exam where you need to bit of go out of the box, out of the normal way we do the question. This was simply based on the language, like how do we speak, how do we communicate. So that order we had to follow. So first would be definition, then explanation, then just the order. It's not enough to do this. You have to cover everything. So just that way of speaking. Anyhow, good attempt by all of you. And you have done your 4 questions, and here you have your first question for reading blanks. Never mind, Kashif, maybe you haven't done any question like this before. So now from the next time, keep in mind that this can also be one type of reorders. Good, Neha, good attempt. Well done. Manjot, well done. So here is your first question for reading blanks. You have 2 minutes. Post your answers in the chat box once you solve. Okay, let's discuss. Disregard means ignore. When you say, please disregard this question, ignore, don't pay attention to is disregard. Hazardous waste can be a liquid, solid, or sludge that is a dash of a manufacturing process. So we need a noun here that is a byproduct, the only singular noun. There was only one, no other option. That is a byproduct of a manufacturing process. With a, it has to be noun and it has to be a singular noun. It can also be a commercial product like industrial solvents or pharmaceuticals that are dash. So with R, it should be ED. That are two options in ED, disregarded or discarded. So we are not talking about objects or products which are ignored. We are talking about the ones which are thrown away. And thrown away means discarded, waste. So this can also be products which are thrown away, which are discarded. Under the law, a waste is hazardous and must be treated specially if the Environment Protection Agency lists the waste as being hazardous, or if the waste dash that. The waste is singular, so we need a verb with S. We have two, one is results, one is demonstrates. Can we say if the waste results that? The waste results in something, but there's no in. The waste demonstrates that. So only option with S. That it has any of the following characteristics. It is ignitable, that is flammable, it can catch fire. Corrosive, that are acids or alkaline that can burn human tissue or corrode metal. Reactive, a dash range of wastes. So with range, we generally say broad range or wide range. These are called locations. So we'll go with a broad because we have that here. A broad range of wastes that are unstable, explosive, or can dash toxic fumes. With can should be first form of verb, V1. What option do we have? We have only one V1, which is create. So we'll go with that. Can create toxic fumes. Any questions, anybody? Is it all good? All right, let's move ahead. Second question and 2 minutes. Done? Very good. When scientists study living animals, they can look at behavior, morphology, embryology, and DNA. It is a different story dash when it comes to long extinct animals. So when we want to say it is a completely different story, but we don't have completely, and even the blank is after, not before the verb, then you can say altogether. It's a different story altogether. The meaning comes out, it's a completely different story. But what we write is it's a different story altogether. When it comes to long extinct animals, behavior cannot be observed and their DNA has long since been dash. So with been, it should be ed form, and their DNA has been, because the animals are extinct, so their DNAs have been destroyed. So understanding dash animals and how they are related to living ones takes a special kind of detective work. So understanding extinct animals, this is a topic going on, that understanding extinct animals requires a special kind of detective work. Dash use the clues. So use is without S, means we need a noun with S. So it will be paleontologists because they are plural, and scientist is singular. If answer would have been scientist, they'll say uses. Why discovered? Why are you writing discovered here? They say when we look at the behavior and something of living organisms, but it's a different story when we talk about extinct animals. They are extinct, so we cannot observe their behavior, and their DNAs are discovered or it's damaged now. Even if we find a fossil which belongs to millions of years old, scientists are sometimes not able to get the DNA because it has been destroyed after so many years of being buried. So it's the problems that they are talking about, not the solutions. Behaviors cannot be seen, DNAs cannot be discovered because they are damaged, destroyed. Okay? So going with the context, we needed a negative word there. Any questions, anyone? This is silly mistake. Still any doubts, anybody? Yes, Munawar, will do when the class ends. Where is our member who shares the link of grammar videos? Do that, please. Must have saved it at a very handy place. Rest of you, question number 3, or I'll do at the end of the session. Question number 3, 2 minutes. This is well done. As it happens, there are 4 different kinds of isotopes of sulfur. By far, the most dash is sulfur. The most common is sulfur 32. The other isotopes are this 34, 33, and 36. The relative proportion of these 4 isotopes has tended to remain dash over time. So remain in a with state. So we use the word remain with state. So remain steady means same, not very much variation. But Farquhar and his colleagues found that in rocks dash than about 2.4 billion years. So with than, it should be second form of verb. Do we have older is second form? Rocks older than about 2.4 billion years, the dash of sulfur 33 varied widely. They were talking about proportion, so we'll also go with that. The proportion varied widely. Whereas rocks younger than about 2.1 billion years showed no significant variation. What dash for the variation and for the change? So the collocation with for we use account for. So we do have the word accounted. So we'll go for that. What accounted for the variation and for the change? Any doubts, anybody? Is it fine? Okay. Question number 4 and 2 more minutes for this one. Well done, good attempt. Let's look at the answers. This says phase transition is what physicists call the transition dash water and ice. So when there are two things, we use between, and we do have that between water and ice during freezing. But how does a particular phase transition dash within the system? So when we have does, we use the verb without s. So you can note it down if you don't know this. So it will be, but how does the phase transition occur? Otherwise, transition is singular, so it should be occurs. But because we are using does, it will be without s. The scientists explain it this way, that somewhat translucent mirrors cause protons to be lost and dash. So with B, it should be third form of verb, lost and dash. Protons to be lost and replaced. It cannot be protons to be lost and gone. They cannot go anywhere. They can be just replaced, creating a non-equilibrium that dash in the system. So that results, it should be equilibrium is singular. So we need a verb with s. And what do we have with s is creates and results. But what goes within is results in something. So it will be that results in the system not assuming a definite temperature and being set into oscillation. This dash a transition between this oscillating phase and a damped phase. So with this, it should again be a verb with s. What are we left with is creates. So it will be this creates a transition between the oscillating phase and a damped phase. And I can see all correct answers. Very good. Well done. Any doubts, any confusions, anybody, anything you want to ask? All good. Okay, we have one last question left for today. One more question and 2 minutes for this one. Post your answers once you solve. All right, are we done? Very good. I thought I would be saying according to, but no, all of you are correct writing in addition. Very nice. This is a new study from the University of California shows that compounds in both green and black tea relax blood vessels by dash ion channel proteins in the blood vessel wall. So with by, we use ing form of verb, and what we have is by activating the ions in the blood vessel wall. The discovery helps explain the antihypertensive dash of tea and could lead to the design of new blood pressure lowering medications. So dash of means we need a noun here, something of tea. And what is a noun? There's only one noun that we have actually, properties of tea. So there's no option that we have. Results from the research dash that two catechin type flavonoid compounds found in tea. So results reveal, researchers reveal something, researchers show something. What we have here is only one option, revealed, not shows or anything else. Proves, these kind of words we use for results. Results from the research revealed that two flavonoid compounds found in tea each activate a specific type of ion channel protein named KCNQ5, which dash potassium ion. So this is singular. So we need a verb with S. So only one verb with S is possible, allows potassium ions to diffuse out of cells to reduce cellular excitability. Dash to its role in controlling vascular tone. So it was in addition to its role, because they have mentioned one more function. They say in addition to this role, which is controlling vascular tone, this is expressed in various parts of the brain where it regulates. So place, various parts of brain is the position that they have mentioned, and for positions we use the word where. So where it regulates electrical activity and signaling between neurons. Well done, Manjot. Big round of applause for getting a full score. May you get this in the exam as well. Any questions, in any doubts, confusions in the last one? Anybody? Yeah, if I get such score in exam, then I will throw a grand party. Okay. Invite all of us. All invited. Okay. Thank you. Good. Dallas, 20 out of 25 is also a good score, a very, very expecting score. Good, Fatima, 22 is well done. Very nice, Preetham, for 24. Any 3 out of 25. If you are 20 and 20 plus, you are good. If you are 20, if you can take yourself to 22, 23, this can be even better, right? No, Fatima, you are improving. You are not bad at reading, writing. Yes, Benita, before of it will be noun in the blank. You are good, you're doing it good, but it's just that you still have a scope of improvement, because the mistakes that you are doing, you know those things sometimes, or they are like you ignore some things, or some things you will feel like, oh yes, I should have known this. So these things are to be avoided. That's okay, Preetham. Unless and until we do silly mistakes, how will we be humans? It's all good. Okay, anything else I can help you with? Can somebody please share the link for the grammar videos? I don't have them here. That's okay, Ben. So maybe what you can do is you can make a list of all the grammar things and the rules that we use, or separately on a piece of paper, and revise them, keep them in front of you when you're practicing blanks, refer to them again and again, and that will help you to remember them, right? Oh yes, those who are going, sorry, good night, take care, wish you a very happy Diwali once again. May you have a really, really good one. And I will see you next week with some more practice sessions, some more information and knowledge, and we'll try to get the score as soon as possible. Right? Bye bye. Those who are going, take care.